Hi, everyone. All right, it's another lovely day painting in with Paul. Art with me. I'm going to start off. Let's see. So we've got the painting of the Camilla's Martini, which is what I'll be working on today. Probably going to be just every day. I just look at it and see like what's the problem now. What's the thing that bugs me the most? And I think the thing that bugs me the most, even though yesterday I said it was the desk, and that is not the problem today. The problem was the glass, and the problem is still the glass. But the good news is, I think I got the reflections and the kind of the depth of the glass closer to being right, but still not. Let's see. Sorry, I know I'm a little vocals a little low here. All right, there we go. And so, yeah. So I got the lighting right basically, but I need to get the color right. So I might be working on the color a little bit and see where that takes me. So probably a lot of glazed stuff. What's the all right. Trying to it's funny. It's not one thing, it's another, man. Pardon me. All right. So cool. So yeah. Hopefully you can see kind of what I'm doing. I'm on palette number 2 here, but I like to leave mine around so that I have, some kind of reference. Like while I'm mixing, I like to mix here, and so I can kind of see where I was before, and it's almost like a memory map of where my colors were. So even though it's different every time, which is maybe not the best thing to do. I know a lot of people use the same, like they put their colors in a pattern, and I just don't do that. That's just the answer. Anyway, so I'm gonna do that, and what I've been doing is I'm gonna start off with a reading. See what you guys think of this. Start with a reading, and then I'll probably be playing some Spotify later on. You can see where it was. It was on Ladytron. But this is a book, Rick Rubin. There we go. Rick Rubin, The Creative Act. Really cool book. I think this is okay to read. I'm just going to read excerpts from it. These are the chapters, really, or as you like to say it, areas of thought. These are like an essay, basically on a topic, on a concept. So the one I picked today is look for clues. Look for clues. I'm gonna try and do this in my reading voice. We'll see. All right. Excuse me. Move this over just a tad. Okay. Material for our world surrounds us at every turn. It's woven into conversation, nature, chance encounters, and existing works of art. Let's see if I'll hold this up while I read it, so you guys know what I'm reading. There we go. Oh, that works. Okay. When looking for a solution to a creative problem, pay close attention to what's happening around you. Look for clues, pointing to new methods or ways to further develop current ideas. A writer may be in a coffee shop working on a scene and unsure what a character is going to say next. A phrase might be overheard in the chatter from another table that provides a direct answer, or at least a glimpse of a possible direction. We receive these types of messages all the time. If we remain open to them, we might read a book and find a quote leaping off the page. Or watch a movie and notice a line that moves us to pause and rewind. Sometimes it's the exact answer we've been looking for. Or it could be an echo of an idea that keeps repeating in other places, begging for more attention or affirming the path we're on. You guys experience that, right? I know I do. These transmissions are subtle. They are ever present, but they're easy to miss. If we aren't looking for clues, they'll pass by without us ever knowing. Notice connections and consider where they lead. When something out of the ordinary happens, ask yourself why. What's the message? What could be the greater meaning? This process isn't a science. We can't control clues or will them to be revealed. Sometimes it helps to have a strong intention to find a specific answer, or to continue or to confirm a particular path. Other times, letting go of that intention altogether can help you find your way. An integral part of the artist's work is deciphering these signals. The more open you are, the more clues you will find, and the less effort you'll need to extract. I feel this. You may be able to think less and begin to rely on answers arising within you. You might imagine that the outside world is a conveyor belt with a stream of small packages on it, always going by. The first step is to notice the conveyor belt is there. And then, anytime you want, you can pick up one of those packages, unwrap it, and see what's inside. A helpful exercise might be opening a book to a random page and reading the first line your eyes find. See how what's written there somehow applies to your situation. Any relevance it bears might be by chance, but you might allow for the possibility that chance is not all that's at play. When my appendix burst, the doctor who diagnosed it insisted that I go to the hospital immediately to have it removed. I was told there were no other options. I found myself in a nearby bookstore. What? Appendix burst. They said kick it out. I'm going to a bookstore. Standing out on a table in the front was a new book by Dr. Andrew Weil. I picked it up and let it fall open. The first passage my eyes went to said, "If a doctor wants to remove a part of your body and they tell you it has no function, do not believe this." The information I needed was made available to me at that moment, and I still have my appendix. Okay, that's not me. I said, okay, it's going out. Sorry. Maybe this is kind of loud. When clues present themselves, it can sometimes feel like the delicate mechanism of a clock at work, as if the universe is nudging you with little reminders that it's on your side and wants to provide everything you need to complete your mission. All right, that's a little too metaphysical for me, personally, but I still appreciate it, Rick. Mr. Rubin. The essence of Rubin. All right. What are we going to do here? Let's see. I hope this comes out all right and it's not too loud. I'm going to drop a message here. Alrighty. So we're in. Oh, I can't do that. That messes it up for you. Sorry. Excuse me. No, tell me to clean that brush out. Maybe. I might actually. Yeah. Press it all out. I'm gonna keep white. Keeping the orange. Oh, Jesus.
Meet me in outer space. We could spend the night. I've grown tired of this place. We could start again.
There's a cadmium,
spend the night.
cadmium yellow lemon.
I've grown tired of
So I think
we could start again.
maybe that's what it needs. Yeah, maybe more red than purple. I've been using the magenta just because it's so close to blue, but maybe it's really not. Actually, my eyes don't tell me that that's what I should be using. What the hell am I doing? What you doing, boy?
Woke up in the evening to the sound of the screaming through the walls of
Let me try some red and yellow. What does red and yellow give me?
over me.
There's different reds.
Untied and weightless,
This is
unconscious as we cross
could do a
the
cadmium.
international dateline. Let's end
Did you think I'm calling for you? I'm gonna use a cadmium red. Let's see what that does. It splurges out. That might be what I had already. What's up, Wolfgang?
grown tired of the show coast and
I
then
think it
the
was.
Doritos.
Let's put more of the same thing
There
up.
are only zeros
This is
around here.
Azo red.
Unconscious as we cross
I used it as a red before. It's yeah, it's a scrap color. I picked it up on the cheap. It was used. It's got Van Gogh's face on it. Must be all right. Back to some Galkid gel. So I used to thin it out. Tad. Let's send it here. Forget when we mix Azo yellow. Expect this to be something close to one of my hours. Kind of is. It's similar to this. And just for giggles. What happens when I do cadmium red and yellow? Not the same amount. A little muddier. Definitely not as bright as that. I could add probably more yellow to it, but I don't think it's. I still think that's what I'm looking for. Just now, let's see what magenta yellow gives. A little tiny bit of magenta. Wow, is that a reason people? I just thought it was something fascinating. If people I could organize things like along the top, along the sides, and then that would be the mixture, is the matrix. If I wanted to really see what that would be like, that'd be kind of cool. I'd be tempted to try that after my next something. All right, let's see what magenta and yellow give me. For starters, I don't have enough yellow. I'm just going to take the rest. Wow, this is muddier than I thought it would be. Really? Is that yellow? Cadmium. Other yellows. Permanent yellow, which really isn't. Yes, it is. Too much of that. Permanent yellow. How about that? Permanent yellow. What makes it permanent? Beats me. That was ugly. That was a very. That was magenta and yellow. It's a much more subdued orange. Alright, let's pop some more magenta. And where to go? I'm just gonna push this a little more. I don't need as much of it. See what it's gonna do. Okay. That is a little more. Nicer red, actually. Okay. Trick. All right, let's mix magenta and permanent yellow. See what we get with that. So permanent yellow. That's a color, isn't it? What is that? Kind of nice. It's a little red. It's a little fiery. Also, pretty much the same thing. Are you effing kidding me? I think I know what I'm doing. Sometimes I can't tell. That's the idea. Pay attention, Paul. Pay attention to the actual thing that you're doing. Both, man. Wolf King, were you ever gonna come in here and say hi to me? Just wait until you need something? You just heard me calling. Wasn't it? That'll put it. That's too much. I'm not kidding. Jeez. I just can't get over.
I just can't get over. I just can't get over.
I just can't get over.
I just can't get over.
Is it just
I just can't get over.
you son of a gun?
I just can't get over.
Yes, that was a bit of black paint that you picked up when you scraped it off. Funny thing about black and white. It don't mix. Um,
I just can't get over. I just can't get over.
So I'm trying this new color out that I've mixed. It's a little warmer. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. So the way I got to it was I mixed a little yellow and white first, which is kind of not what I usually do. It's cadmium? Yeah, cadmium yellow. Just take all this because that's all this is trying to do. Mix a little bit of Galkin. It is Galkin, right? I keep calling it Galkin. It is Galkin. Galkin, Galkin, Galkin. Let's see. Take maybe half of that. The reason I do this, so when I get a mixture or a color that I kind of like, or that I think I'm going to do more with, I try to just use a portion of it to test, just to see if that's what I'm getting, what I think I'm getting. And that way I can always add more of everything. I can add more of what the new color like I'm going to do right now. I'm going to get some more magenta on this. Or suddenly I put too much magenta in, and now instead of having to go back and add yellow and white, I can just pull from this mixture, just till I get it kind of where I want it. And a lot of the times, I think one of the concerns I used to have when I was painting in general, was, but what about all that waste? And maybe you don't, or you don't think about that. It has the tendency to do that. When one of these costs $10, $15, and you've got multiple of those going on here, then you tend to sometimes you start to worry about, how much are you wasting? And I have two answers to that internal voice when I ask myself that question. One, specifically with oils, if you do it in a way where your mixtures are simplified, you can pull from them again. You know what they are, then you kind of don't waste it. You keep always some combination of similar colors on your palette, so you can keep some of the mixtures if you don't make them too complicated. And then you can reuse them in other pieces, because a lot of the times you have a lot of the same tones, color tones in a painting, so you can kind of move forward with it. Like I said, if you haven't made them too complicated. So keep your mixture simple. You don't want to, you can't mix too many different pigments anyway. It's just, you start to it starts to turn to mud. So keep them simple, and that means you can keep using it. Another example is, like, if you really like a color and you nailed it, there's a good chance you want a slightly darker or a slightly lighter version of that color somewhere else. And so then if you make too much of it, then you can add some darker to it and then do a different part, or add some lighter to it and do the light part, you know. And you're still using the same basic mixture. So that's just something I think about when I don't. And then the second reason, which is actually, I should say, the primary reason, this is a far better color. I'm glad I mixed a lot of it. This is the one. And that's more around my philosophy of art and supplies. And I developed this one over a few years. But I'd say it really, like, art school really kind of kicked it in. And that is, you know, sometimes you have this. Art supplies can be expensive, right? And art, in its nature, can be experimental. You don't always know what you're going to get. And so sometimes you have this tendency to want to, like, not waste your art supplies. And not everybody's like that. But some people are, and those of you who are, you know who you are. So I'm speaking to you. And that is waste away. Almost to the point where it should be a challenge. You should challenge yourself to waste as many art supplies as you can. Go the other way. Use it up. And reward yourself when you use them up completely with a new supply. And you get to go to an art supply store and you get to go buy stuff, you know, or if you buy it online, whatever. But you know, you get the package, you get the new thing. Like, that's the reward. The reward is the new supplies. So use them up. And you know, like this one. I have new cobalt blue, so I don't know why I'm holding on to that. I just like these little tiny things. But it's because that's my trophy. That's my trophy. My trophy is I used every bit of that. And yeah, maybe some of it went to waste mixing things. Maybe yeah, maybe it went into the trash. But it was never a waste. Because it led me to where I am. That's the path. Art supplies are that is the road that you walk on. You know, the pavement. That's how you got there. So use that stuff up. Now they don't seem as also with oils, it just looks so much better. You know, you really don't want the thin. You know, it's okay, like, early on to have thin. It's okay to have some thin layers early on. But, you know, the joy in an oil is looking at an oil is It's thick. Thick glob of paint. I don't think this is working, but I'm gonna try it anyway.
Now I've seen a place not far from here where diamonds light up the sky. I've waltzed with my lover, rolled in the clover. I've heard the whippoorwill cry. I'm gone, but not forgotten. Trouble sure I've got 'em. Now they don't seem as real.
Smell the brush.
Goodbye.
Need some more.
Sure is good to know ya.
Oh. Hello.
I'm so thankful for
Thanks for joining. Please
that's how
remember to subscribe so that you get notified
always feel.
when I do another
I'll always
round. Ha! No pun intended. No, but seriously. Yeah. I'm painting more and more. I think, a couple of things that I've got coming up. One is pen and ink I'm working on. I have a collection, I guess you'd say, of pen and inks. Just show you this. It's upside down. That makes sense. And I'm printing them out. I've got a collection from sketchbooks, so I'm going to be printing these out and trying them on different paper, and then doing some colored pencil over it. I really like that look. Combine the two. I've done a few of these in my sketchbooks, and every time I run across them, they make me happy. So yeah, I thought I'd print a few of these out, see what you guys think, and I'll be probably changing the camera setup so you can watch me work on those. So I might do a little of that. That's once this is done. So we're not there yet. My certainty's wide, waiting for you. I am a child, believing you lay beside me, sleeping on a plane in the future. Hey, buddy, I hear you. Are you gonna come visit? I'll get you on camera. Try to, anyway. Wolfgang. You wanna come say hi? Come say hi? Wolfgang. Come on, buddy. My certainty's wide, waiting for you. I am a child, believing you lay beside me, sleeping on a plane in the future. Maybe a little blue though. Wolfgang, where you at, buddy? That is really blue. Is that too blue? I need it to be purple.
Happiness is between two boys.
Yeah.
Feeling funky on
Come on now. It's more purple.
the smiles bend all over. Can't control how I feel. It's just you and me now. Round up kimonos from my girls in the sun. Sending videos to friends in London. Straight outside the skies, got to from the bar. They might
Wolfgang doesn't love me.
dream Telecaster. Just you and me now. Just you and me now. Just you and me now. It's just you and me now.
All right, I'm gonna try something different. I don't know if this is gonna work. Let me close Spotify. Where's my framed rate? All right. Heh. How about that? That's a mess. Application capture. We'll do No, I'm gonna put it over here. All right, let's see. That's not cool.
The original question of why the late 70s and early 1980s, what was there about that particular point in time that caused this?
All right, I'm gonna rewind it a bit. So I've been listening to this as well. We'll just bring you along for the ride. I mean, this is how I'm gonna stay entertained, right? Oh, let's see what. Let's see if. You know what? I really do actually want this over. All right, I guess I'll bring it over here. I'm gonna rewind it a little bit. Start over.
Today, we're going to call it the investor's view. We're going to look at your personal values. Pay at the top, the capital market, the Acme Widget Corporation, profits and wages overall. And then we'll end with a discussion about the purpose of the corporation. I just want to make sure you are all with me in terms of what we're going to try to do today. And that is begin the inquiry into why inequality of income and wealth has widened so sharply starting around the late 70s, early 1980s. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to come back to the question of, is this a problem? We will. And we will come back to the original question of why the late 70s and early 1980s. What was there about that particular point in time that caused this? But starting today, we're going to look at fundamental causes. Again, the structure of the economy, the structure of the political economy. Let me ask you some questions about your own views about your neighborhood. How important is it to you to preserve neighborhoods with small shops and bookstores? A, it's quite important. B, it's not really important. Go. Let's
Quite
end the
important.
bidding there. Oh my goodness, it's very important. Well, even on the basis of that sample, 359 of you say very, very important, and only 56 of you say not really important. Well, keep that in mind. I want to come back to this. You pretty overwhelmingly like small shops, bookstores. Well, let me just ask you one more. How important is it to maintain steady jobs and good wages for American retail workers, manufacturing workers, airline workers? A, quite important. B, not really important.
Not really
Another
important.
clicker exercise. Go. And let's see what you say. Again, overwhelming 95% of you, 536, say it's quite important to maintain good jobs and wages for American workers, manufacturing workers, airline workers, and so on. Well, this is all important to keep in mind because this is the baseline we're going to be operating on. And now, let me just ask you, do you shop online for a lot of things? Yes or no? Go. Let's see.
Yes.
Do you shop online? Yeah, a lot of you, 78% of you do shop online. Now, I don't want to in any way criticize or the consistency of your principles, but do you see a slight tension? Because if you're shopping online, maybe the local bookstore and maybe your local retailer are not getting your business. And if they're not getting your business, maybe they can't easily survive. Or let me ask you, do you seek the lowest priced goods and services, such as clothing and flights?
No.
A, yes, of course. B, no. Go. And let's end the bidding.
I don't
and
go by
see,
price.
yes, of course. Well, about 80% of you are saying, yes, of course, you do. And about 18% of you say no. But let me just, again, point out, there is a little tension between what you're doing here in terms of seeking out the lowest priced goods and services, clothing, manufactured all over the world, airline flights. By the way, the more you shop for the cheapest deals in clothing and airlines, and we could talk about a lot of other things, you understand the more likely it is that there's going to be pressure on the wages of these people. And if we are dealing with a competitive market, a big if, then those wages are going to be under a great deal of downward pressure, and it's coming from you. I don't mean to implicate you. I don't mean that you are in any way bad, but you are implicated. Remember, we're starting to search for the causes of widening inequality. And what I want you to be able to at least begin to see is that you are part of this system. You're not the only part of the system, and maybe you're not a major part of the blame here, but you certainly are part of a system that is generating wider and wider inequalities of income and wealth, not only in this country, but as I said last week, what is happening here is happening around the world, and what is happening here is also widening inequalities elsewhere. So why does the consumer in you so often win over the citizen in you? And I want to just make sure you understand what I'm getting
That's a
at
really
here,
good question.
that we have a split brain. Part of our brains are consumers. We want the best deal. We're traveling around. We're trying to get the best deal on our computers. We're trying to get the best deal wherever we can. We want the best deal. We need the best deal as consumers. But we're also citizens with values of a sort that we talked about a moment ago. Values having to do with wanting a community that has bookstores and that has small retailers and that is good for workers and working people and is fair, and I call those citizen values. You could call them any values you want, but they're not exactly the same thing as consumer values, and there is some tension between them. So the question is, why does the consumer in us, you, so often win over the citizen values in you? Is it because we have, or you have, limited resources? Is that the major reason? Or is it B, you don't connect your pursuit of goods and deals, like using Amazon or trying to get the best and lowest airfare, to the consequences that you may dislike? Or is it that you're not prepared to sacrifice good deals for the sake of better consequences because you don't think anybody else is going to make the sacrifice? In other words, why should you be a chump?
See.
Which of these is the best explanation
Chump.
for why the consumer in you so often wins over the citizen in you?
Gotta be a chump.
Well, let's end the bidding right there, and let's see what you think is the best explanation. Well, it's not overwhelming, but a little bit more than half of you do think
limited
it's
resources,
mainly because you
bulls.
don't have the resources. You just can't afford it.
Bull.
You'd like to be able to be more generous, maybe, but there is a number of you who think you're not connecting. You're not seeing the consequences of what you are doing as a consumer. And there are some of you who say, 21% of you say, there's a collective action problem here. Collective action meaning you have no way of making sure anybody else is making the same sacrifices you would be making if you did make those sacrifices, so why even try?
Bother.
A collective action problem. Again, for now, I'm not going to try to solve this, quote unquote, but I want you to keep in mind that there is this tension. And to the extent that it's a collective action problem, keep in mind that one way of dealing with collective action problems is to pass laws. And now we turn to pay at the top. And the reason we're turning now to pay at the top is because moving from consumers to moving to people who have major positions of leadership in the private sector, and it's not just the private sector, we're also going to be taking a look at public sector a little bit, will reveal some underlying realities about the structure of the political economy we are in. It'll help us answer some of the questions I've already put on the table. CEO pay. And we're going to look at the ratio of CEO to worker compensation since 1965. Now, when we talk about CEO pay, chief executive officers, we're talking about not your mom and pop business. Now, some of the people who run mom and pop businesses are officially CEOs, but no, we're talking about big companies, and most of the data is looking at Fortune 500 companies, 500 biggest companies. And let's just see what has happened to the ratio of CEO to worker compensation since 1965.
Surprise.
Well, this is this period before the late 70s when I certainly was coming to my consciousness about the political economy. And I remember long around here, 1978, 79, 80, I was upset. I was railing about CEO pay. I was writing op-eds. I was kind of, I thought it was absurd that chief executive officers were getting 30 times the pay of the typical worker. Then, not too many years later, I was asked by Bill Clinton to be his Secretary of Labor, and the ratio at that time was more than 60 to 1. And I remember he and I would would have discussions about that. I mean, it seemed out of proportion. 60 to 1 CEO pay to average workers? I mean, something had to be done about it, didn't we? And during his campaign, we came up with some ideas. I'll get to that in a moment. But we never imagined it would become 350 to 1. Why has pay at the top risen so much, so fast? A, there are only a limited number of star performers, so they can command higher pay. Or B, they've generated larger returns for shareholders, so they deserve higher pay. Or C, they've gamed the system, so they get higher pay. Think about it for a moment. Okay, let's end the bidding here. And, well, a lot of you, more than 75%, 76% of you think it's they've gamed the system so they get higher pay. The two others, A and B, 12%, 11%, 77, 75 people. Here again, I'm going to try in this class to be a little bit of a devil's advocate. I'm going to try to suggest to you, at least the majority of you, that you are wrong. Let's look at star performers' earnings. Let's look at professional athletes. And the best way of doing that here, Mickey Mantle, compared to Carlos Beltran in 2005, Alex Rodriguez in 2013, Mike Trout in 2020. Let's take a look at now these are all in 2020 dollars. In other words, this is adjusted for inflation. This is actually their real purchasing power. Mickey Mantle, my hero, in 2020 dollars was earning $845,309, which was a lot. I mean, that was a lot of money. But nothing compared to these stars. So what's going on here? Aren't CEOs of big companies stars? Don't you have to pay them a lot to get them, just as you have to pay a lot to get these? Also, one thing ought to be, a question ought to be going off in your mind. Why is it that Mickey Mantle was only paid that in 1957? What happened to the market for stars? Well, let's just take a look at a different market for stars, which would be movie stars. Star performers' earnings, movie stars, Clark Gable in 1942. You don't remember Clark Gable. You do remember Clark Gable. You remember Clark Gable?
Remember.
Clark Gable. And then Robert Downey in 2013, Iron Man 3, total income we're looking at. And then Dwayne Johnson in 2020. And let's take a look at their, again, these are in inflation-adjusted dollars. So this is about actually purchasing power. And it's, we can compare apples and apples. And we're going to be looking, here is the amount. And let's take a look at same pattern. I mean, Clark Gable was a big, big, big star. I mean, take my word for it. But what happened to the stars, the incomes of these stars? Why did they go like this? And by the way, again, in the back of your mind, you should be asking, if they went like this, why shouldn't CEO pay also explode? We're talking about the market for stars. Well, let me give you a hint as to why the explosion in the market for stars.
Reliability.
It used to be that when you were a baseball player or you were a movie actor, you signed contracts that bound you to your employer. Mickey Mantle could not be traded. There was no such thing as free agency. Mickey Mantle was stuck. I mean, he had a great reputation. People loved him, but he could not easily move from the Yankees. Clark Gable was stuck with his movie studio. You didn't have movie studios trading free agency, and you didn't have individual stars with their own agents getting the best deals they could. No, the stars were dependent on their movie studios. The star athletes were dependent on their teams. Something happened that allowed the stars to go out into the world and become their own free agents. At the same time, something else happened, and that is that the audiences for these athletes and movie stars became global. Increasingly
That's the
larger
answer.
and larger and larger. So there was more money pouring in from all over the world. Put these two together, free agency and global stardom, and you've got part of the explanation for what's going on here. Is this the explanation for what has happened to the CEO stars? Well, let's come back to home. Now, this is embarrassing for some of us, but we've got to do this. University of California, Berkeley is a public university. We're not talking about a CEO of a private corporation or a athlete or an athletic star, and we're not talking about a movie star. We're talking about our home here. Well, let's look at the gross.
All right, that was a test for a couple of reasons. One of which was to see how the performance was on my feed. Where are we at? Yeah, I'm not sure where we're at. Well, let's quit this. Wow, it's taking a lot to render. Let me remove that. Then remove that. All right, that helps. Good to know. Could be all these cameras I've got running. All right. I wonder if we did a file instead. Create new image. Browse. List. Paintings. All right, let's do that, and then let's delete this. All right. I'm hoping that's going to cut out one more application. Make my rendering just a little bit faster. We'll see. Well, so that's it for the music then. I guess that's it for the music. That's it for the. I basically just need a faster computer. So, I don't have that. All right, man. I'm really. I don't know. I'm coming in. It's coming in. It's a little hard to tell. I think this looks closer than it shows up there. Let me do a little bit of image adjustment. I'm just going to cheat a little bit. And turn off the auto white balance. That is a little closer. All right. And then drop the exposure down a little bit. All right. That's closer to what I'm seeing. And yes, damn it. Why is that so much different? All right. Just keep at it. There's a little bit of a of a lighter something right here. For you I am a child. Leave me. You see how, like, when I find a color I like, I just kind of use it everywhere. Kidding, not kidding. just needs more red. Not that red. I mean, it's better than none. Where was that? Is that what that was? Yeah. With a little bit of blue. Rule number 1, keep track of your colors. All right. I like the color of that a little better. If you're able to, you might be able to rewind. I don't know, the live streams work like this where you can rewind and see, like, how does it look? Does it look better than it was? I think it does. My neck. My neck is having a blast today. My certainty is why you don't even know what to mix anymore. That's mud. No, I'm just kidding. It's starting to have some presence. Yep. I'm gonna do. I'm just because I'm feeling this. I need to move around a little bit. I'm going to work on the top a little bit. I probably need to take a break in about soon. Sure. Let's take it all. So I think there's gonna be a little bit of blue. It's gonna be a little bit darker than that. Put a little black in there just to tone it down just a tad. Add the Galkid. Should it be brighter? Was I going from brighter? I think I was just, the whole point of that was to go a little brighter. And I just didn't. Yeah, what do I want to do with that? Is that a bright? It is. It's a brighter. It's a brighter. All right. Let's see what we got here then. Some more Galkid too. Just because I was keeping it up top. This squirts out like nothing. No effort. It's still saving. Hi.
Hi. What are you barking? You didn't even lift up your head. I'm coming to get some tomatoes
Okay.
and thyme.
Okay.
Sorry, I always feel bad when I like barge in on you.
It's fine.
Because I know that you're very time-oriented. I love you. Well, is it cooler up here, buddy?
I forgot what I was doing. I'm doing white. I'm trying to do white. Oh, I like that so much better. Why didn't I do that? Oh, why didn't I do that? Horizontal lines. Oh, that's so much better. Yep. I like that. I like that a lot. It just gives it the right dimension. Because it's the perspective is actually, I don't know, it helps with the perspective. I'm gonna go with that. My neck. Son of a. He's just out of whack today. Too dark. I think it helps a lot. Oh, my neck. Dang, on it. Ooh. Well, I like the color of everything better. I like the color of the background. I like the color of the drink more. What else do I like? Color of the drink and the highlights in it. Those are all pretty good things. And it is 1 o'clock. I'm going to take a break. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this segment of Painting with Paul. I hope you're able to see changes and progress on these. You know, in a way that is meaningful. But yeah. I'm looking at the... It's kind of cool to be able to see the picture from the camera. Because sometimes I can actually see things from that view that I can't see just looking straight at it. It's kind of like stepping back from a painting, you know. So anyway, all right. Well, thanks for dropping in, and hope you've enjoyed this immensely. I'm sure that you have. It's good to take naps too. There's that. All right. Well, I'm done. Peace out. Somewhere. Yes.